It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the South region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors South.
Hi everybody, welcome into this week's show. I am so happy that you're along with us for the ride as we come to you this week from the deep south. Right over my left shoulder is about 45 minutes south of Birmingham, Alabama at famous Lay Lake. Lay Lake is located on the Coosa River chain. It's got several famous lakes up and down it, starting with Weiss Lake, then Neely Henry, and then Logan Martin, and then right here at Lay. The lake is famous for a lot of reasons, but one of those is the great bass fishing here, both largemouth bass and the famous Alabama spotted bass. They grow bigger here than anywhere else in the country. So we're gonna get out and do a little fishing for those today, and we'll be taking you around the region for your latest local fishing reports. We've got fishing reports from Tennessee, Kentucky with Crispin Powley, from the Carolinas with Inglis Glover, from saltwater along the Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia coastline with Bob McNally, and the freshwater reports from Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama with Jimmy Jacobs. So I'm excited on a cloudy, overcast, windy kind of a day. Could be good for fishing. We're gonna launch the Nitro Z8 and the Mercury Pro XS Optimax into Lay Lake, see what we can find. Right now, we take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are showing mixed conditions for weekend fishing activity. Saturday is expected to have poor conditions, while Sunday looks to have fair activity with the best daylight times beginning about 8 o'clock in the morning. Expect sunrise to take place at 6:09, with sunset happening at 8:03. And evenings will be lit by a moon that is 82% visible. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the southeast. And I'll return with professional angler Timmy Horton to answer a question about braided line for this week's Ask the Pro feature.
Hey, thanks very much. We've made it out onto Lay Lake. Got a little sun peeking over the clouds here, but it looks like it's going to be a cloudy, overcast, windy day. Let me tell you a little bit about the lake, a few statistics. First of all, it's 48 miles long, but only 12,000 surface acres, which tells you that it's just pretty much a long, winding river with some back bays off of it. It's an old lake, impounded in 1914. It's got 288 miles of shoreline, an average depth of 22 feet, so it's fairly shallow, and it's got all kinds of fish in it. The lake has hosted the Bassmaster Classic 4 times, most recently in 2010 when Kevin Van Dam won it with a big stringer of fish all caught right in the back of Beeswax Creek where we're sitting right now. Got some rods rigged up. We're gonna get to fishing. Stay with us. We'll be back to Lay Lake, south of Birmingham, Alabama, right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
There's one. I don't think he's very big, but it feels like a bass. Oh, he's hooked under the chin. Just a little largemouth. All right, just something to get it going. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad you're with us. I'll show you the equipment we're going to use in just a minute, but that's just a little largemouth bass to get it started right there. Let me get you set up on Lay Lake. This lake, again, is on the Coosa River, and there's really 2 completely different types of fishing to do here. One, you can get out on the river and fish mostly for spotted bass. You do that on rocks, all kinds of rocks and docks right on the main river channel. Then you can get back off the river channel, and that's where we are right now. And back here, there are lots of boat docks to fish, boat houses, little rock points, and a lot of weed beds. In fact, let me roll in a little bit of video here of several of these big weed beds that we've run across back here. All kinds of great bass holding cover. Those are going to be mostly largemouth bass back in here. So that's where we are right now, back here, maybe trying to catch a largemouth or 2, just fishing some of these docks and some of these little rock walls right in front of us here. So we'll fish down a little bit of this and see if we can find what the bass are doing today. The water's kind of dingy, a little off color. It's really perfect bass color. You can see down about maybe 18 inches or so in the water. The lake's at really about normal level, it looks like. So this is just kind of what you can expect when you come here. This is a great fishery, really all times of the year except for the winter. They had a really tough winter this year, as you know, this past winter, and it killed a lot of the big milfoil beds. And there used to be tons of milfoil in this lake, and I've looked around a lot and I've seen very little of it. So mostly what you see here is just some weeds, docks, and rocks to fish, and then some big floating weed beds kind of out in 4 or 5 feet of water. All right, let's get you some fishing reports right now. And let's start it off with Bob McNally down along the saltwater report in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, and then the freshwater report for those same states with Jimmy Jacobs.
Hi everyone, welcome to Fox Sports Outdoors Coastal Fishing Report. This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where the fishing fun is year-round and where the inshore angling is world-class and the offshore fishing is just as good. So start your fishing trip in the true South, Mississippi. Well, great spring weather has really kicked on fishing throughout the Southeast, and over in Alabama, Captain Rick Murdoch is catching plenty of pompano in 2 to 3 pounds at Perdido Pass, which is over near Orange Beach, right on the Florida-Alabama state line. He's fishing in 4 to 5 feet of water using live shrimp, and he's getting up to 10 pompano per day. That's a really nice day for one of the South's best eating fish. He's also catching sheepshead up to 4 pounds, fishing those same Perdido Pass jetties. He says that Spanish mackerel and kingfish also are showing up in about 30 to 40 feet of water, and the trollers are having a real good time with them. In Mississippi, over around the coastal barrier islands of Horn, Ship, and Cat, anglers who are chumming on some of the shallow bars and reefs there are getting good numbers of black drum. And if they fish off the tips of those bars on those coastal barrier islands, also chumming, they're getting some cobia. They're starting to show up to 20 to 40 pound fish, and plenty of black tip sharks, which are plenty sporty. And remember, those are the black tips that jump. In Georgia, whiting on the beach is still the big ticket, and they're catching lots of those 1 to 2 pound whiting using peeled dead shrimp in about 12 to 20 feet of water. Triple tail also are showing up pretty well in Georgia, and that fishing should hold up for the next few weeks with bigger fish on tap.
Brought to you by the Old 96 District, South Carolina's real freshwater coast. Lakes Greenwood, Russell, and Thurman offer outdoor adventures and angling action. For fun family weekends or vacations, visit the historic Old 96 District.
Blue Ridge Lake in northwest Georgia is the last big lake stronghold of smallmouth bass in the Peach State. Now, all of the other mountain lakes have been decimated by the introduction of spotted bass that compete for forage and spawning areas. Despite the spots showing up in this 3,300 acre reservoir in the Coal River, the smallies are hanging on. Now, the fishing has been really strong since last fall, with most of the bass being about 1 pound, but occasionally anglers are surprised when they pull in a 5 to 6 pounder. Now, down in Alabama, Lake Eufaula on the lower Chattahoochee in the southeast corner of the state is red hot for largemouths. These are post-spawn bass, and the fishing can be outrageous. You can catch 40 to 50 fish per day here. This is classic largemouth fishing. You're tossing the shoreline cover. Wailani and Cowicky Creeks are 2 good places to start your search for these fish. Lures to be throwing are swim baits and buzz baits. Now, if you're over in northeast Mississippi, the channel catfish action is as good as it'll get all year on Pickwick Lake. Water temperatures are pushing 70 degrees. These fish are moving to the shore to spawn. You look for rocky bluffs where you want to drift a night crawler along them under a float, and if the fishing is on, you can fill a cooler for a fish fry right now.
There's one. That's not a bad fish. Come here. What is it? Largemouth? No, that's a spot. That's one of those good spots right there. All right, we did it. Caught a spot. Yeah, there is your Coosa River spotted bass right there. That's what I came 13 hours from my house to catch. Look at that, little smallmouth, got a couple of patches of teeth on his tongue, got those lines kind of faint down his side right there. Just a gorgeous fish right there. And that's just a good 3-pounder or so, something like that. All right, that one hit a jig. Strike King tour grade football jig right there. All right, that's just a good thing to happen. That one was classic stuff right there. I had fished down a whole bunch of weeds, hit a little patch of rock, a little sloping off rock that sloped off into 6, 7, 8 feet of water, something like that, and hopped that jig down it, and boom, he hit it. So that was really cool right there, and that's the classic thing that happens right here is those spotted bass tend to get on rocks, boat ramps, rock retaining walls or concrete retaining walls, chunk rock, any kind of boulders or rock that you can see sloping off anywhere close to the Coosa River channel is where you're going to find these spotted bass. All right, well, we've got a little something working. I got a little surprise I'm going to show you coming up next, so don't go anywhere. You're going to really enjoy what I'm about to show you, something that doesn't happen very often on our show. But right now, we're going to get you some local fishing reports from your neck of the woods. Let's go to Tennessee and Kentucky with Crispin Powell.
Hey guys, the grass is green, the flowers are blooming, the trees are budding, and the fish are biting in Tennessee and Kentucky. Let me take you on a real quick tour of what's happening right now. First off, the hottest thing going on right now is Gibson County Lake in West Tennessee. It's a little state-managed lake that's full of Florida strain bass, and they're catching giants right now. Those fish are in pre-spawn and post-spawn patterns, and you can go over and catch them any way you want to and catch some really big ones. Kentucky Lake, really good right now. The water's up. It is, the fish are shallow. You can catch them a variety of ways. Red-eye shad's been really good. Our tour grade rage blade, hearing some incredible reports about that. And the crappie bite, still hot. Anywhere that the crappie spawn, gravel banks, chunk rock banks, that's got any kind of wood on it, you just go cast around it and it's happening. Barkley Lake, the water's up. This is the primo time of year for Barkley. It's flipping bonanza. You just go pick up a soft plastic bait or a flipping jig and go to town. Aside from that, Center Hill has been on fire, still on fire, nothing's changed. They're still doing it. A lot of sight fishing going on right now. You can go in the backs of some of these spawning pockets and that clear water over there, those fish aren't hard to find. Aside from that, guys, the Cumberland River, the spot bite is really good, the crappie bite's really good, and the striper bite is turning on. I'm hearing some really good reports about some big stripers being caught on weight baits right below Cumberland Dam. Outside of that, guys, it's as good as it's gonna get here. Well, with the exception of maybe next month. But look, get here, we'd love to see you. The fishing's great. Come to Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
I happened to run into a really nice young guy who was pre-fishing for a bass tournament this coming weekend here on Lay Lake, and he had a phenomenal 10-minute period. He made a few casts and caught a 5 bass limit that would weigh well over 20 pounds in under 10 minutes in one spot. He was nice enough to let us throw these bass over in our live well just so we could show these fish to you. Now they're probably gonna go nuts when I get in here and try to get them out of here, but I'm gonna show these fish to you. We're in the Nitro live well here. There's one of them. Good quality largemouth. There's gonna be 5 of these, and I'm gonna throw all 5 of them back here. There's another one right there. That might be a little spot right there. There's 2 of them. Here comes number 3. There's another largemouth right there. About a 4-pounder or so. There's another one right there. That's number 4. And then that one would be his kicker right there. That's close to a 5-pound bass right there. And that one's gonna go back. And there's the last one. And that's what can happen in 10 minutes on the right patch of rocks with the Strike King square bill crankbait right here at Lay Lake. Stay with us. We're coming back for more. Don't go anywhere. This is a dynamite fishing.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
There we go. Look at this, big fish. That's a big bass right there. Big old Lay Lake bass. Look at this, holy mackerel. And look at the size of this big toad. This is a whopper. All right, hey, we got it all laid out for you. Showed you what we're doing, and that's Strike King KVD 2.5 crankbait, big square bill, and that's a big toad right there. In fact, I ought to put the scale on him. Let's jump a scale on him right quick. Hang on. Okay, zeroed out. Now let's see what she weighs here. 6'5", 6 pounds and 5 ounces. How's that? That's a good bass for you right there. Had to stick it in the live well second, change the batteries in my scale. What a beautiful Lay Lake largemouth bass right there. We're gonna let that fish go back. Just to go back in there, get on that grass bed again. All right. Oh man, all right. Hit a square bill crankbait and just cranking it off the edge of some of those docks and some of that outside grass right there. You never know what's gonna happen. That one's bigger than I thought I would actually catch today. 6 pounds and 5 ounces. Let's go to the Carolinas. Here's Inglis Glover.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report, brought to you this week by Marshall's Marine, located in Lake City of Georgetown, South Carolina. We're your bass boat specialist since 1969. For all your nitro and bass tracker needs, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. And right now, all the estuaries in the Carolinas are starting to fill up with the flounder, just like Merle's Inlet here, where this weekend we had a great flounder tournament with a 5.6 pound doormat taking home that first place prize. Also, the redfish are getting into that spring mode. If you've got some mud minnows or a mullet on the Carolina rig, go find that area where your fish move through on that certain tide, get them out and get ready for some great action. The nearshore reefs are starting to really heat up. The Spanish mackerel, which I love to target, are starting to get on those reefs. And right now, a #1 planer with a Christmas tree rig with a Clark spoon on the tail end, trolled around those schools of glass minnows that you'll see the Spanish and bluefish hitting, is sure to bring home a nice bag of fish. The offshore fishery, the water temperatures this week that I recorded on the edge of the Gulf Stream where I was, were in the 74, 75 range. I've also heard of some water down south that's in the 76, 78 range, making its way up here. The freshwater fisheries, the bass are in those shallow waters. They're on the beds. Get out there with a frog right now and get ready for some of the most exciting bass fishing that you can experience this time of the year, targeting those fish in that shallow water with the top water. The catfish bite is really good in the Carolinas right now. Stevie Pack just landed a couple 40-pounders this week over on Santee at Pack's Landing, and says that it's only getting better, and also that the stripers are making their way down the river back to the lake system as well, and they're catching some nice keepers there as also. Hey, this has been your Carolinas report. I'm Captain E. Remember, I'm gonna keep your chaos organized and make you work smarter, not harder.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for Ask the Pro feature. This week's question is from David, who asks, what is the best knot to use with braided line? For the answer, let's ask professional angler Timmy Horton.
In fishing braided line, the knot that I use is a polymer knot. And one of the things that's tricky on that a lot of people have problems with is they leave the tag too short to begin with. So when you pull it down, leave the tag a little bit longer until you get it pulled down very firm. Now once you get it firm, it's not going to slip anymore. But remember, braid is going to slip a little bit more than a fluorocarbon or a monofilament. So leave that tag a little bit longer until you get it firm, tight, then trim it down. Now what I trim with is just a sharp pair of scissors. You can't really use dikes or pliers or anything to cut braided line, because cutting fishing line is really crimping it and breaking it, where you actually have to cut braided line. So get a sharp pair of scissors, and that's what I like to use when I'm using braided line. Now, a lot of people ask me, what about the length of the amount of time that I leave braided line on a reel? And guys, I leave it on there for a long time, a lot more than fluorocarbon or monofilament, sometimes an entire fishing season.
Thank you, Timmy. If you have a question for one of the experts, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see which viewer wins the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, thanks very much. We're back at the boat ramp, loaded up, and it's time right now for the weekly winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Congratulations to Frank Ashley of Wilmington, North Carolina, showing a 23 and 24-inch flounder he caught at the North Carolina beach near Hewlett's Creek. And if you'd like to enter our Costa Catch of the Week contest, all you have to do is go to the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. The right-hand side of the front page is the Costa Catch of the Week area. Click in that box, follow the instructions, send us your photo. You could be our next winner of a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses like the Tuna Alley frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. Now you can see that the Costa website by clicking on the Costa logo on the front page of our website. You can see this frame style along with all of their frame and lens styles. Next up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff, it's the gear you'll need to do some of the fishing that we did today on Lay Lake. I love the brand new Lew's David Fritz Speed Stick cranking rods. They come in several different lengths and different actions. Now, the one that I was using today was a 7-foot medium action. I want to show you what's great about it for crankbaits. It's got lots of flex from the tip to about halfway down the rod blank. And that allows you to feel that crankbait, and then when a fish gets it, he can't pull off because there's lots of flex in that rod. It's a great rod series. See it at the Lew's website by clicking on the Lew's logo on the front page of our website. Let me show you some of the baits that you can use to catch bass here on Lay Lake. On your far left is the Strike King Tour Grade football jig. Did a great job of fishing those rocks and the outside of the weed beds. Then, to fish here at Lay Lake, you'll always need a lipless rattling crankbait like the Strike King Red Eye Shad. That's a good shad color with a little bit of yellow in it. Then on the far right-hand side here is the Strike King KVD Square Bill crankbait. It's kind of a red and reflective color there. It's a 2.5, dives about 2.5 or 3 feet deep, and it caught that big one that you saw on this week's show. Last year in October, tragedy struck the Professional Bass Fishing Tour when an angler pre-fishing for a Bassmaster tournament was shot and killed in the parking lot just outside his motel. It seems that he woke up in the night, looked out the window and saw someone burglarizing his boat rig. He went outside to confront that individual and was immediately shot and killed right in the parking lot. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this season that both my wife and I just recently got our CHL, our concealed handgun license, and we do carry our weapons. But the lesson out of this tragedy is this: don't be a hero. If you look outside and see someone stealing your stuff, go back inside, pick up the phone, call 911, and let the trained law enforcement professionals handle the situation. No boat rig, no truck, no gear is worth losing your life over. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our trip to Northeast Alabama, south of Birmingham, to Lay Lake and the Coosa River. And as you saw, there are some good quality largemouth and spotted bass in this lake, and I think you would enjoy a trip here. Hey, don't forget to join us next week on Thursday night and on the weekend. You can always catch the latest airtime for the next episode right on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Until next week, from Lay Lake, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.